just told me the other day you needed that the investigation was inconclusive. How can you reach a conclusion? All right? And the girl's mother was right when I relayed the police information to her, and the father relayed it, my daughter is going to school. Because our daughter had been victimized twice. First, raped, and she insists that she was raped by the news call. Right, my dear, she had not bought, she had not changed her story. And now, police made her to look like a liar, which is the second victimization psychologically. Thirdly, they were now saying she should come. And the mother is like, why put my daughter through this trauma?
But they said they aren't happy except that the person being accused may not have anything.
But the other thing is, why are you asking after 3 months to do a swab when sperm dies in 72 hours? I said, what's the basis of this swab? And then the mother said for my daughter to go to beach school and go show out of school for some time, that would be like the full victimization because it will affect our education. So on the issue of rule of law, the government needs to do a little bit more, because this Brian Maggie case that is still questionable. I wrote the police for a report on what the evidence that they used to reach a conclusion, so that I can advise my client on the way. It's good for the police, because if the examination shows that they did thorough work, it helps the image of the police. It satisfies the family. If the girl lies, she can be properly thoroughly investigated, because then something is wrong to get to the truth. But disclosure, in my view, can strengthen public confidence. Secrecy creates more suspicion, and that is what is happening alone. And the question, has it happened before? Yes, many times. When I was Solicitor General, for example, when the report in the Hans William case came, both the medical report and the police investigation report were released to the public. My witnesses are Sobo George, who was at Star Radio, and Ambrose Ma, who was at the Truth FM. I released it to them. I printed out copies and gave them copies. That is, government is more respected and trusted, and the people's confidence level goes up when government is more open than when government is closed. Lack of transparency promotes suspicion, which is happening in this case. And they say, we'll not disclose. It's true. They say, why not disclose the truth? And Article 15.
They said because they are still investigating.
But if they are still investigating, let me say the truth. When I appeared before them, at some point, the first time I appeared, the IG said, we're still investigating, but I'll find it. No, you're paying out one forecast, not going to give it. So when they have reached a conclusion that they haven't found it, why not give me, like they did before, they gave me one sheet before and said, that's just a summary. I want them to give me, since they have concluded or reached a point where they cannot decide. Give us the report. Article 15C of the Constitution of Liberia is clear. The people have a right to know about their government, its functionaries. The police, it's a huge part of the of governance, our security, our protection, our public safety. It's all part of the mandate of the police. So as functionaries, we have a right to know what to do for our behalf.
Let me hear your take. You were a former Labour Minister. There are two things. You are also a lawyer, so there's a hard issue about the learning situation, and we'll come to that. But you are a former Labour Minister. Why has it been difficult for Liberia to have a job tracking system like it's done in other countries? There's something like a leaderboard that will show how many jobs are created in a particular month, a particular time, and all of that throughout the whole year. It keeps reading and bringing all of those pieces of information out. so that data is accurate, that we don't need to be arguing back and forth 70,000 jobs and all that?
Well, the Labor Ministry has a statistical department. When I was there was also an employment unit keeping data, CVs of all Liberian professionals, and now we bring the CV so that when companies come and say, we want work permit because you don't have the skill set we need, we can tell the director of that section and say, look at your computer and bring out all of the resumes, right? For example, when I was Minister of Labor, one company came and brought, I think they wanted 15 Ghanaian geologists. I said, no way, that will happen. I said, you were advertised for 1 month on the radio, in the newspaper, on the internet. And to their credit, they did it. And nobody, at that time, we didn't have, Liberian geologists. And we were then compelled to tell the Alien Registration Department, we can stop the company from operating. We can go ahead. So you have to do that because the labor law is clear that you cannot give work permit to anyone for a job that a Liberian is qualified for. All right? So all of those things should be tracked in the...
Yeah, but in this case, jobs are not being tracked yet.
Yeah, so... But that's...
From Ellington to Weah to now.
So that's
what is the problem?
So that's something that should be done because both villages and the statistical department should be able to do that. And currently the head of villages is a former assistant minister for labor statistics. So if he's listening to us or other people are listening to us, it will be this is something that should be done.
I am asking this question because for a long time I haven't heard the president say throughout this year we created this number of jobs.
In mining, in
so like the way President Boakai brought up, I had thought that Labor Ministry already had the stats, the data and all of that, but we have been back and forth asking where is the data and someone else will say this, someone else, but there does not seem to be an accurate data.
Thank you for your concern and question because maybe based upon the way you have raised the issue, next year we might have better information.
Yeah, because for you to say 70,000 means something, there is information that led you to say this. There is data that led to the conclusion of 70,000.
Yeah, that number can be. Now, there are too many different explanations I've heard right on the radio.
Yeah.
But the motorcycle is that, and then somebody says something else. And maybe you should bring a labor minister on the radio.
Yeah, I will try. We will see next week whether we can have it. Now, on
the labor minister and the
legislative people, we'll try to reach out to them. Now, the final thing before we go to the lines, I want more people to interact with you today is this land situation in Saytown. It's been one of the things. Breaking down places, owner of land, all of that. These things usually happen once in a while and all that. But why? Why is it real? How can we make this thing better to make it
the court by law does not break any place, right? The court repossesses whoever wins a case in court. To repossess means you and I are fighting over the case, and the court says, I won the case, right? And the other person lost it. So the court officer is supposed to go with paper and put the winner in possession by putting the content of their houses there, maybe out in the street or so. It is the owner of the place who then decides whether to keep the buildings or to break them down. So that decision is not made by the owner, it is wrong. The law provides for a crime against abuse of office. Judges, court officers, anybody who is not immune under the law can be sued severally for damages. All right, if you don't perform the duty properly. So I said the same thing in CDC case. I see breaking down. I hope that the machines were hired by the owner but the person, we call them the judgment creditor, the person who won. If the person who won, even if 1 minute after repossession, carries caterpillar, he hires and pays for the caterpillar and they bring down these things, the law supports that. Because now it's owned by you, right?
And so you can decide what
you can make that decision. But it's not, there's no one in the law that protects the law. Any court officer is going to break anything that is done by the court officer, breaking that is illegal.
So it is the owner that gets the police involved.
It is the owner that then gets, I don't know what, if in his process of breaking down, somebody obstructs or wants to commit crime, then he might complain to the police as the agency for maintaining law and order, right? But not even the police want to break anybody's place down. You can hire your private caterpillar, you can even hire private people that you pay to unroom, to break down the building or whatever. You can also keep the building. Up to my time, we have all these legitimate actions to get people. I say, sometimes they want to, I say, why do you want to break the place down? It belongs to you now. You know?
So if you win the case, any property that money for you, so
it can be 10-story building. You know, I like to always give President Weah's, George Weah's example. He was not president there. The place he built on 9th Street was bought by one Malimo old man in the 80s. And then during the war, in the around early 90s, he came and wanted to build a house. And some people sold it to him.
Who now we are?
Yeah, apparently the man had died, the man's children, the marshals. So they went in and said, oh, yeah, there were crush racks there. The place belonged to one old man, he in exile. He still went ahead and built a $500 million house there. So when he built a house, the old man came, the place was open I think 1995. Right after that, the old man sued. Actually rejected. And remember that by 1995 or even up to 2003, maybe 2005, before George Weah expressed interest in politics, maybe I can say 99.9% of the whole country loved him, supported him because of politics being controversial. So by that time, he was not in politics. He was our celebrated player. But he and the woman wanted to receive a lot of questions. They presented their deeds. The jury were in the room of deliberation. They saw the old man's deed from the same source, older than him, man's deed. And they came back and said he was liable. And the old man won the case. And then I understand he announced appeal to go to the Supreme Court, or his lawyer announced appeal on his behalf. Somebody advised him and said, you go to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court friendly judgment, you lose your property completely. So go to Ajikuma. Ajikuma was on the Council of State. You remember when they had three of the Warren faction leaders, President Cllr, Nkrumah, and Oscar Weah, George Bulley, on the Council of State. So Ajikuma had been president of Barrow before. That means he was more LFA. So they said, you better go talk to that man. And I think we are playing for Barrow, play for IE. So he wanted to talk to Weah. And Weah called the old man. Like, go and talk to Ajikuma. Ajikuma called the old man and talked to him. And he set her out of court. And the old man issued a deed. So somebody can build 10-story building on a land that you claim to be yours. When the court determines in the end that the land is for you, the house is for you. So,
the instance you mentioned that the two of them got the deed from the same source.
Yeah.
Why isn't that source punished for selling the same property to 2 or 3 different people? Why is it the system cannot track those kinds of things?
At that time, there was not that law. The law on criminal conveyance, right, which is double, triple selling of land, was drafted by me when I was there for the Land Commission. I thought that was a ingenious way of stopping this. But what is happening today is that the police and many of the magistrates don't understand that law. Because that law was actually being enforced, people will be afraid because I put in that law in the legislature, approved the law that if you sell land to someone and you are found guilty, you should go to jail for 5 years. And the surveyor who surveys the land, because most often the family, the estate surveyor that we see present, who help A to sell the land to B, then survey the land for C. So that surveyor should go to jail for 10 years and his license should be revoked forever. It's a strong law, but that law did not exist around 1995.
Yeah, but that law exists now, and people still do the same thing.
Well, my law office won, I think, the first case. There's a man called Julius Jeh. My younger brother is a lawyer, and he took this guy was selling double, triple selling land in Johnsonville area, and the matter. So we took the matter and went to court, and we won it. And the matter went appealed to the Supreme Court. My brother told me in the court that day, when the Supreme Court gave a ruling affirming the judgment of the lower court that he was guilty of criminal conveyance, Chief Justice Yo did well. He said, but where is the appellant? He said, yeah, in there. He said, Marshal. She said, Marshal, the procedure is when the Supreme Court decides the mandate should take 3 days to go down, and then the court should cite the parties and read the mandate of the Supreme Court and enforce it. But this man, we let him to be for you today, he will run away. So you are arrested today, let him go to jail. So they send him to jail. He's at central prison right now.
Okay.
But maybe as we are talking about it, some people will be afraid. Jeh is in jail.
So it is my first time hearing that someone has been jailed because of that. So it's important for those kinds of cases to come out.
And I told my brother, I said, oh, but this is quite interesting. Your older brother drafted the law and you won the case, the first case on it.
777. Okay, 777-700-995, 555-995-995. Sorry, folks, I did not give you more time, but of course, it was important to hear his experience.
He doesn't get me off it, so.
Yeah, sure. Welcome. Let's hear you. Hold on. Welcome. Yes. Yes, go ahead now.
Thank you, Julius. This is SONA DA. That case was given to the Land Council. Julius was the council. My question for the day. During the SONA, the Development Minister presented those figures that President Weah to us, and they started misleading to the people, including the president, and the dialogue. If you were president, then you are being there by the minister making the point. What would you do?
Okay, what will you do to the people who get
I will let you what's up with that question, I'll fire you. Especially immediately.
Wow. Why?
To get me to mislead the public, I will fire you. I will not even waste time.
And so you think all those people who may have given you false information
they should be dismissed because you see, they don't have monopoly over ideas. They are not the only professionals in that area. So that other people can take their job seriously. You're Liberian. Let me tell you, like I teach international law, human rights law. When you look at the human rights treaties, all human rights treaties in the world have been signed and approved by our government. But we start thinking that we don't abide by it. Like we're not serious. Other countries can sign with reservation. Like Britain can just go. They don't even go to the conferences. They just bring the paper, they sign. Then they bring the lawmakers over here, they ratify. So we have very good record in signing and ratifying, but we have very poor record in compliance.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. Welcome, and let's hear you.
Julius, good evening to you from Liberia, and good afternoon from here in Minnesota. This is Service Lady. I'd like to say thanks to you, Cllr Gonglo, for your expose. I still get it from story level me after the game. Yeah, but just Cllr Gonglo couldn't have put it in the way. You cannot embarrass the president and still be in the job. You know, this thing should not be like that. People should be reprimanded for what they do. Onto the land issue, it's sad in my heart to see the people after living in that for a long time going out those in that district wanted to be represented would be there making donations. People on residential tickets would be there making donations. Well, it is what it is. And onto the law, Council of Gonglo, you talk about, people being punished for double selling or triple selling of land. What is it in that law for people who sit there and properties getting constructed on their land? They don't speak at some point. I know some of these cases can go for a long time. But what about people who just sit back and the properties get constructed on their land before they can go to court when these huge buildings or whatever are being there? What's in there for those?
Okay, thanks for kindly. Let's speak. Oh, I'm going to take him. Doesn't matter. Let's take this one from overseas as well. Welcome. Let's hear you quickly.
Yeah, I guess it sounds good morning. Good afternoon. I'm going to say good morning. It depends which part of Minnesota you come from. Yeah, but like the veteran said, that the comrade veteran said, yes. Good morning, comrade.
Good evening.
This government has not done pretty well, or not pretty well, but some good. The government, since they came to power, they have done some good. It's not even a problem. Like I said on your show yesterday, and I will keep seeing it. Even the past president, George Weah, did some good. Weah did some good. Dole did some good. Tiawan did some good. This is not a problem. There's a growth in the economy in this government. We agree to that. That's a pop on the bar. The baby rose. But there's a problem. And we have to keep the issues where they are. The problem is this. How can the growth in the economy reflect the living condition of our people? How the good government doing? The way when you see the ministers, the assistant ministers, when you see their living conditions, you can see a match between economic indicators and their living conditions. We want to see that with the common people. 70,000 jobs, Julius. Is it the first time? Is it strange? No.
Okay.
They created jobs. George Weah created jobs. In fact, Daniel Joseph Salim, 2018, just for healthcare workers alone, 4,000 jobs. This is not Liberia's problem. Do we understand really? How can these jobs, the way we see the ministers, the directors, the way we see their jobs reflect their living conditions, how can we see the jobs reflecting the living conditions of our people in Bentu, in Gerema, in Kopala, in Bantreview, in Zonzo, in Bangineva?
Okay, thanks for kind of because of time. Next, a few hours, the council needs to respond as well. I think I have Benjamin Myers. I'm being confidentially informed that the message was not from the Ministry of Public Works, it was from the speech writers. The NPW have the right figures and they changed the language. Okay, so it is those speech writers now that she says the whatever the case, I think that's what Council Gonglo said. Welcome and let's hear you.
Yeah. Good evening, Julius. This is Dean Benjamin Miles,
Spokesman of the Ministry of Public Works.
Thank you so very much. Well, good evening to the council.
There's your boss, man. CEO, SONA, yes, Miss get it.
Well, Julius, I wouldn't bash at them because it is their right to express their opinion on a given issue in the country. But except I think that the expression of their opinion is being done not from the perspective of the reality, but it's being done on sentiment. Because the Ministry of Public Works was very clear. Public Works submitted its component of the speech to the speech writers. The speech writers are not robot. In fact, the process of writing the president's SONA address is not automated. Those things are done by human beings, and they are subject to error. So one way or the other, in the corridors, mistakes were made, which embarrassed the president to an extent. However, the Ministry of Information, in its
is being told that his credit finished. He went off. Okay, so we will leave it right there. We come back to you, sir. You have the next 2 minutes. Yes.
Yeah. Look, there was this question. Somebody asked a question about what was it? There was a question from abroad.
Yeah, I think it's on the land issue. Those who have land.
Yeah, who said that? Who said that before the bill? Look, there's something called statute of limitation. The law is if you wait for 20 years, someone built on your land, and you don't take the person to court until the expiration of 20 years, you have to keep the peace forever.
But some people claiming that they been on that property in St. Cllr for 30, 40 years.
So it depends on whether the issues were raised by their lawyers properly. Because, losing cases can be based on the evidence and on the lawyers. Do you know that there's a time to file cases in court and order? Somebody can file case against you. Like today, one lady came to me and said, they brought the paper to me, but I didn't accept it. I put her in the car with her. I said, go now and accept it, because the sheriff is going to make a return, which is the report that I serve her and she refused. And within 10 days, if she does not reply, the other side will go to court and get judgment by default against her. Not that she doesn't have a right, but she did not exercise her right. So there are many reasons why people can lose cases, okay? So we don't know the details, but generally I want to say, look, I have to say that the government generally feel when it came to the SONA, I think they have done some good, but the way they presented themselves to the public, they got us going feeling great. Because when you start arguing with the citizens, or whether or not you said the right thing, you failed. It's like a mother telling the public, "Oh, I feed my children 3 times a day," and the children start saying, "Wow, that's not true. We can't even eat in the house here." Obviously, there's a credibility problem. Because the children should say, "Oh, that's true, Mama. The kind of food we can eat is another."
I sometimes they get children that can lie too. I hate children all I want. Sometimes they can 1 minute malo ugly.
Well,
so in this case, that would be an opposition children.
Well, if so many people are saying, "Oh, that's not true." Look, what I said on the radio station the other day, we shouldn't be even having this argument. Botswana gained independence 119 years after our independence. They got 70% desert. It's a landlocked country. They got only 30% to grow food and to do things. They have other mineral resources, but the main mineral resource is the diamond. They decided they will not export raw diamond. They enter into a contract with Liberia and making a lot of money from it. Today, health services free, education free. It is a middle income country. Yet Liberia is among the 15 poorest countries of the world because of poor leadership. We need to improve our leadership. That is why you don't hear about street protests and big demonstrations in Botswana. The citizens are satisfied. When the citizens are satisfied, nobody needs to tell them, there will be demonstration over demonstration because of mass hunger. Mass hunger leads to mass hunger.
His name is Councillor Tiawan Gonglo. Thanks so kindly.